Okay, I'm starting. As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Shy Gal severely injures Toucan Sam but puts him out of his misery. Pagan Min runs away. Ridley takes a handful of throwing knives. Echidna runs away. Pyro severely injures Two-Face and puts him out of his misery. Giant Snail runs away, very slowly. Felix takes a sickle from the cornucopia. Shaggy clutches a first aid kit. Neapolitan grabs a sword. Hatsune Miku grabs a backpack. Kent Mansley retrieves a trident. Siva runs away. Cassandra and Gavin fight for a bag. I give up and run away. Cacodemon kills the toenail monster as he tries to run. Cacodemon's gonna go on a murder spree again. Squidward's house runs away. Joe Biden snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Barrick stays at the cornucopia for resources. Sayori takes a handful of throwing knives. Abe runs away. Lucas runs away. Ben Shapiro runs away. Greedo runs away. Declan snatches a pair of sais. Eminem and Nonon fight for bag. Eminem gives up and retreats. Astolfo grabs a jar of fishing bait while Markiplier gets fishing gear. God breaks Matt Tofton's nose for a basket of bread. Natsuki rips a mace out of Bob's hands. Juan steps off his podium too soon and blows up. I've never seen that one before. Siva searches for a water source. Oh, it said Juan stepped off his podium too soon and exploded.
I've seen that one.
I don't remember it. Siva searches for a water source. Sayori strangles Squidward's house after engaging in a fistfight. Makes sense, I guess. Greedo questions his sanity. Neapolitan kills Cacodemon with a sickle. Cassandra tries to spish fear with a trident. Bob scares Kent Mansley off. Natsuki tends to Shaggy's wounds. Gavin bleeds out due to untreated injuries. God damn it. Hatsune Miku discovers a river. Pagan Min hunts for people. Nonon and Matt Tofton work together to drown Eminem. Astolfo begs for Barrick to kill him, but he refuses. Ridley makes a swing shot. Joe Biden overhears Declan talking to a giant snail in the distance.
Only Declan.
Yeah. Felix attacks God, but Echidna protects him as if he needed it, but thanks, I guess. Markiplier makes a swing shot. Abe receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Ben Shapiro runs away from Pyro. Shy Gal searches for a water source, and Lucas discovers a cave. Huh?
Pyro's nickel?
No, Pyro from TF2. Bob looks at the night sky. Greedo cries himself to sleep. Joe Biden tries to treat his infection. Neapolitan, Matt Tofton, Hatsune Miku, and Sayori sweep in shifts. Markiplier and Ben Shapiro run into each other and decide a truce. Ridley and Pagan Min hold hands. Siva shoots an arrow into Shaggy's head. The only one that could kill Shaggy. Kent Mansley attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Giant Snail sets off an explosive, killing Pyro, God, and Cassandra. Damn.
Who does that?
The giant snail. He killed God. Yeah. Shy Gal goes to sleep. Declan and Nonon talk together. Barrick receives food. Natsuki sets up camp for the night. Astolfo defeats Abe in a fight but spares his life. And Lucas and Echidna hold hands. Day 2. Sarah receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Abe defeats Shy Gal in a fight but spares her life. Giant Snail, Pagan Min, and Declan hunt for other tributes. Bob searches for a water source. Greedo, Kent Mansley, and Lucas hunt for other tributes. Astolfo discovers a river. Nonon attacks Joe Biden, but he escapes. Markiplier receives clean water. Hatsune Miku thinks about home. Neapolitan and Ridley work together. Matt Tofton tries to sleep through the entire day. Barrick questions his sanity. Siva throws a knife into Echidna's chest. Ben Shapiro discovers a river, and Natsuki is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Siva cooks his food before putting his fire out. Bob loses sight of where he is. Natsuki defeats Greedo in a fight but spares his life. Declan tries to treat his infection. Giant Snail and Sayori work together to drown Astolfo. Deserved. Barrick, Kent Mansley, and Abe discuss the games and what might happen in the morning. Ridley quietly hums. Nonon receives a hatchet. Pagan Min and Lucas huddle for warmth. Markiplier dies of hypothermia. Matt Tofton cooks food. Hatsune Miku, Shy Gal, and Ben Shapiro discuss what might happen in the morning. Neapolitan climbs a tree, and Joe Biden receives fresh food from the American government. Sayori collects fruit from a tree. Siva, Greedo, Barrack, and Bob form a suicide pact and kill themselves. Hatsune Miku sees smoke rising in the distance. Kent Mansley picks flowers. Neapolitan travels to higher ground. Giant snail poisons Avid's drink. He drinks it and dies. Giant snail is killing everyone. Matt Tofton unknowingly eats toxic berries. Joe Biden collects fruit from a tree. No non-fishes. Pagan Min kills Ben Shapiro with a sickle. Ridley tends to Declan's wounds. Natsuki dies from an infection, and Lucas and Shy Gal work together. Declan fends Neapolitan, Shy Gal, and Kent Mansley away from his fire. Nonon passes out from exhaustion. Hatsune Miku tends to Ridley's
Declan
wounds.
fends himself off in the fire.
Yeah. Pagan Min, Joe Biden, Giant Snail, and Sayori tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood, and Lucas tends to his wounds. Cornucopia is replenished with food supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tributes' families. Joe Biden, Hatsune Miku, and Pagan Min confront each other, but grab what they want slowly to avoid conflict. Sayori cannot handle the circumstances and commits suicide. Oh my god, she did it. She killed herself. Declan decides not to go to the feast. Lucas convinces Ridley not to kill him, only to kill him instead. Nonon decides not to go. Yeah, apparently. No, Giant Snail is Godslayer. Lucas is Ridley Snail.
Oh, he did kill God.
Yeah. Neapolitan takes a staff leaning against the cornucopia. Kent Mansley decides not to go. Shy Gal is unable to convince Giant Snail to not kill her.
I don't know.
He's killed like 5 people.
He's the fucking frenzy part.
Yeah. Pagan Min receives a hatchet. Nonon attempts to climb a tree but falls to her death. Declan and Joe Biden fight Neapolitan and Lucas. Neapolitan and Lucas survive. See, that's Declan's fault for trying to team up with Joe Biden. Kent Mansley overhears Hatsune Miku and Giant Snail talking in the distance. Pagan Min cooks his fire before putting his food. Cooks his fire before putting his food out. Kent Mansley and Lucas run into each other and decide to truce. Hatsune Miku cooks her food before putting her fire out. Giant Snail thinks about winning. Neapolitan cannot handle the circumstances and commits suicide.
I wouldn't doubt it if he would. He
Lucas
tries to win and only win.
Lucas collects fruit from a tree. Pagan Min attempts to climb a tree but falls to his death. Kent Mansley makes a slingshot. Giant Snail makes a wooden spear, and Hatsune Miku collects fruit. Okay, so we have Lucas, Kent Mansley, Giant Snail, and Hatsune Miku. Kent Mansley quietly hums. Giant Snail and Lucas sleep in shifts, and Hatsune Miku thinks about home. No, Lucas sets off an explosive, killing off Giant Snail and Kent Mansley, and Hatsune Miku dies from hypothermia. Which means Lucas frickin' won. With 5 kills. He had 5 kills though. But Giant Snail had 6, so I mean, come on.